Merry Christmas. We are really excited today. We are here to talk about some reality television. This is new on the Hallmarkies podcast. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Haley Strong is here.
Yay! I'm so excited. I really feel like this is what we've been waiting for.
Yes.
You call me for all reality TV adjacent things with Hallmark, and I'm so thrilled to be covering. Is this Hallmark's first reality television show?
Well, I mean, certainly they did a Christmas cookie thing a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So there was that. And they had a as far as like the following around kind of reality shows. They had one with Holly Robinson Pete a couple of years ago, but that wasn't like a competition.
Sure.
So the closest they've gotten as far as a competition was I think it was called the Christmas Cookie Showdown or something like that.
Well, we're here. We're ready. We're ready to honestly, I didn't even know what the premise of the show was. You said, here's the show. Are you available? And I said, yeah, sure. Yeah. Didn't truly before this morning at 10 a.m. I had no clue of the concept of this show. I think this is like a genius concept for them. And I can't believe they haven't done it before.
It's so smart because not only did we get the end, not only did they get a show and we get our end movie star that's actually appearing in one of the season's movies. So we get that. Plus, they could have multiple people that then could be in multiple movies.
Totally. And then next year they can do Finding Miss Christmas. Easy.
Yeah. And I think that would be really, I'm sure they're already working on that.
Yes.
Because this thing probably costs 10 cents to make. I mean, whatever you have to pay.
Listen, Rachel, it was expensive to put all those filters on the cameras for everyone's eyes to look so blue. Yeah. That's where all the budget.
Whatever you have to pay to get Jonathan Bennett, and then that's about it.
Oh gosh.
And it is kind of funny because this whole thing was filmed in Utah. It's why didn't they tell me? If I had known.
I saw that at the end. I was like,
I knew as soon as I was like, I know those mountains.
I guess that's fair. I guess you recognize your own mountains.
I mean, especially they have an episode where they have super fans present. I'm like, this is just rude.
That is unfair. Yeah, that feels harsh.
I don't know who Vicky and what is her name? I don't know who Vicky and Nikki are. I'm sure they're lovely. If you're listening, we love you.
Podcast listeners, yeah.
But I'm just saying that they haven't dedicated their whole life to covering Hallmark like I have.
I messaged you this morning and I said that I had such a great time watching this. I didn't once, like I said, I didn't know the concept before starting it. And once I realized what the concept was, I was like, am I in trouble?
Yeah.
And then the first challenge happened and I went, oh no. And then once we got into it, I'm like, oh, I'm having a great time. These men are perfect for this show. I think the casting was incredible. I could see every single one of these guys in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
They just have a specific face of Hallmark.
Well, see, that's what I was going to ask you about. What do you think? Because you cover Bachelor, you cover Top Chef, you cover a bunch of different stuff. So what do you think is the key to making this kind of show work? Is it the challenges, is it the cast? What is it that you think is the most important part?
I think the cast is obviously most important. It has to be an engaging cast for the show, but it also has to make sense with what the prize is. And I think the prize here is good for this show. You're joining a Hallmark leading man show to be the lead of a Hallmark movie. And I think that's so perfect. And I think the challenges are important, especially the second challenge in each episode, because then you're really understanding how these guys are leading men. Definitely in the premiere episode, I felt that more than the second episode with the model, the modeling. I get why they did that, but I got more from the first challenge of the actual scene.
Because that's a tricky thing about this show, and I'm not the expert that you are on reality television. I love Survivor. Top Chef. I've watched a few other shows like Project Runway for a little while, things like that. But I'm not the pro like you are at it. But I think the risk with this show is that you have to keep it pretty nice
Mhm.
because it's a Hallmark show and
That's
people
so
don't,
fair.
I mean, especially if they're looking for the Hallmark hunk, you do not want them to appear unlikable at all. So you
That
cannot
yeah.
you can't do things that a lot of other shows would want to do, like getting them drunk or pitting them against each other or showing none of that. So it's like it runs the risk of being boring real quick.
That is a really interesting point I had not thought of, and I think you're 100% right. But because of what this product is, I don't think people are coming to the show expecting the drama. Like, I think they're expecting to meet the next Hallmark hunk.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
and 2 episodes in, I am having a great time. Do you know how
Yeah.
many episodes the season is?
I want to say it's either 8 or I mean, I think it's 10 because there's 10 dudes.
Okay. Like, I feel like an 8-episode series would be perfect.
Maybe 8. I'm not
If
sure how many episodes it
Yeah,
is.
I bet they have, like, a final 3 or something.
Yeah, you're probably right.
If
Yeah,
you
you're
stretch
probably
it
right.
longer, I think you run the risk of being boring, and I think it will really depend on the challenges, going forth. But this is a show that even if you and I weren't going to talk about the rest of it, I do think I would continue to watch this. It's,
Hmm.
like, getting me in the Christmas spirit. It's, like, a pretty
Yeah.
easy, breezy viewing, material. Like,
Yeah.
I had a really nice time watching
I
this.
did too. I enjoyed it. So, and just for clarification, so I've seen 3 episodes. Well, I'll just briefly talk about the third episode. You've only seen 2 because you're up there in Canada.
Yeah, we get everything a week later, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So will you watch it on the Super Channel or how did you watch it?
I found it on the on-demand section of my cable provider's
Oh, okay.
website.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Thank you, Bell
And
TV, for all you Canadians.
down here in the States, we have this on Hallmark Plus, which is their new streaming service. I mean, do you feel like this is a pretty smart move for you're starting off your streaming service having something like this?
Yeah, having, like,
Yeah.
a little bit of, like, a diversifying the portfolio.
Hmm.
It's just also, like, the time it'll take to watch this is probably what, like, the time it'll take to watch 4 to 6 of these movies. Like, you're having eyes on your content for longer because people are engaged.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah. And you need like some, I mean, all arguably everything on Hallmark is somewhat background television-y. It's something you
Sure.
can just place on and just enjoy and have the but I think having shows like this is also helpful.
I think it's
No
great.
drama, just
Yeah.
like put it on, I'm good.
And you can run series like this all year long. Like, you can
Yeah,
have, like, the spring version,
that's true.
you can bring the cookies back, like, have kind of the Hallmark spin on, like, the Food Network's, like, spring
Yeah, or
baking
even I
championship.
mean, I'd be fine if there was finding Mr. Christmas in April because everybody knows they shoot these movies in the summer, so who cares?
Or hear me out, follow the lead of, like, the Bachelor franchise, finding
Oh yeah.
Mr. Golden Christmas.
Well, yeah, that would be ironic with the recent scandal with the lawsuit.
With The Bachelor or Hallmark?
No, with Hallmark.
What
Have you heard
happened?
about this?
No.
So there was this casting director, her name's Penny Perry, who was with Hallmark for like many years and legend. She's almost 80 years old. And evidently she got fired and she's filed this lawsuit saying that Hallmark is age discrimination and like having all these quotes of saying what they said about Lacey Chabert, what they said about Holly Robinson Pete, all these different people. They're getting too old and all this stuff. And anyway, yeah, it was this kind of scandal.
I mean, guess what? Don't doubt it. I believe that.
Oh no, I believe it
I believe that.
100%.
But
And
I
the
do
thing
think
is,
it's like, I think it would be so excellent to, like, have these stars as they're getting older still do these movies, because, like, the audience is also growing up
well,
too and aging, and, like, those diverse love stories are interesting. Like, you're seeing it
yeah.
in
Well,
reality
see,
TV and have it reflected in non-reality
that's what
TV.
I said, that this is not an actor's problem or kind of a casting problem, but it's a script problem. The
Yeah.
problem is because technically I agree with them. They do need younger talent, not because the movies about younger people are better. It's because the scripts are for younger people. And so when you have 40-year-old actors playing these parts where someone is like having their first job or their first relationship or they're just out of college, like it doesn't make any sense. And so it's distracting. And so the problem is not with the performances, usually the problem is with the scripts. And so and they have, the thing is that they have done some more mature stories and they've been good for the most part. There was a movie called Midlife Crisis with Terry Hatcher. And for the most part, Terry Hatcher's movies for either Lifetime or Hallmark have been really good. And so she's very good at picking scripts. But this one, it was all about her. She's been through a divorce. Her daughter's about to get engaged. She's, going through all these things that like, and she's about to turn 50. That is like, okay, that's believable. That's interesting. That works. And there was another one that was really good called Love of Course, about a woman who is dropping her daughter off at college and kind of figuring out what's the next journey. And not that every story has to be like that if you're over 40, but like it's believable more than there was a movie this last little bit where Ariel Kebble, who I think is 42, she played a woman just getting out of college, her first job, and getting back in touch with this guy that she had like been an intern with, and it was just like, come on, like it's not believable. Like, and I like Ariel. I have no problem with her at all, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
There's lots of room for stories out there, and like Hallmark is a perfect place to have those stories. And Hallmark, you can have this idea for free. You can even have like a couple that's been married for like 30 years, like re-fall in love with each other.
That'd
like
be cute.
Like there's so many options, and it doesn't have to just be divorcees. It doesn't have to just be widows. Like
you're right.
People want these things, and it's not. They don't want to just watch two hot jabronis fall in love. Like I want to watch old hot jabronis fall in love too.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, good writing is good writing, and good writing saves all. Like it's by far the most important factor when it comes to a film. Like chemistry would be like the second, as far as a romance would be the second, but have that writing.
Mm-hmm.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Anyway, so for this reality show, so we have 10 dudes vying for the Hallmark hunk, and you like the casting.
I do. I think they did such a good job at having like a wide range of people who like I could see all of these guys being the lead. Like maybe 10 years ago, you're only seeing guys like Gage, but I feel like all of these guys bring something really cool and different to the table. Like, and there's kind of like a wide range of age too, like not super wide. Like there's nobody over 40, but like 20s and 30s into the late 30s. Like that's cool. I really like what they've done here.
Yeah, I like that it's actually a younger, for Hallmark at least, a bit of a younger group. A lot of 20s, like a few few a little over that, but yeah. Did you have a favorite, one who stood out for you?
Favorite that I would make out with is Parker.
Okay.
A surprise favorite was Daxton. Like as soon as he walked in, like I wasn't like engaged with him, but as soon as he started like his acting and as soon as he did his modeling, like I was very impressed by
Yeah.
him. As soon as Hayden walked on the screen, I said that it's this guy's competition to lose. Like this is the guy. He has an Australian accent. Like he won that he won the first challenge or like came second. Either way, he did really well in the first challenge. His
Yeah.
modeling photos were fantastic, like absolutely gorgeous. Again, like I don't know if I want to hang out with him personally, but like he works for this show.
Yeah.
I like that we had a Canadian. How exciting for me personally. Like the
Which
dude's
one was the
an
Canadian? I
he was the
forget.
astrophysicist. Like we have an
Oh.
astrophysicist, David, or an aerospace engineer who's just like
Yeah.
gonna give up his aerospace engineering career to be on Hallmark. Like follow your dreams, bud.
Yeah, it's true. Why not? You can do it all. Yeah, Daxton I was excited about because he's like kind of a friend of a friend.
Oh,
He's
cool.
Yeah, and I just saw him in Jersey Boys. He was at Pioneer Theater Company. He was in Jersey Boys here, and he was great. And so that was definitely he was the one I was rooting for going into it the most.
Yeah, I feel bad saying it, but like seeing him, I'm like, okay. But as soon as he started like doing his thing, like I got it. And I love that there's also a mix of trained actors and like randos. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
like
true.
that. I don't know. It's fun.
Wait, going into it, I thought, okay, Gage is going to do really well because he looks so much like Kevin McGarry, who Kevin McGarry is extremely dreamy and is a popular actor on Hallmark. And so I thought that would give him a lot of leverage. But they don't seem to have like really any bias towards any of them. It seems pretty fair for this kind of show.
It does, but I would say if they are leaning into like a soft villain edit, it's Gage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. But yeah, they seem to be giving everybody a pretty fair shot.
And
This,
it's great.
which I like. And it's interesting how some people they some people when you see the filming, like the camera, you're like, oh, okay, wow, it really, or when you see the photos, they look so good, but they aren't quite as like dynamic in the interview sections or in the how it's interesting how that works.
And I felt the opposite about David, where I thought he was engaging in like the interviews, but I thought the photos of him were like wild.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm like, this is a good looking dude. What happened?
Yeah. So the first episode, so every episode has a festive face-off and a star quality challenge. How do you feel about that? You think
I really think we could lose the festive face-off, but I understand its purpose.
I mean, I kind of feel like they could, and then the show would only be 30 minutes, and I think it probably would be better at the 30-minute mark, but it's fine. It's fun. So they have the festive face-off, star quality challenge, and the first episode we have the ugly sweater, design your ugly sweater costume contest. And what did you think of that?
I would say I hated this. I felt like they ruined perfectly beautiful sweaters. We got earnest way too fast for my personal taste. I get it. You want the earnestness with these stars because you want them to be able to be engaged with, et cetera, et cetera. For me, I was like, I just met you. I don't need to know about your backstory quite yet.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You are divorced and you miss your dog. I don't need that episode 1. Episode 2, bring it. Episode 1, give me a moment.
I can see that because especially episode 2, since they were going to have the dogs on the episode, that would make more sense.
Like, I almost wish I was surprised with Hayden's moment in episode 2 without any like preamble to it. Like,
Mm,
I feel like that would have had more emotional impact of being like intrigued of like, well, why is he tearing up over this? And then we can kind of go back into it.
yeah.
It was also like hard to take it seriously when they are telling like everyone about their childhood traumas while wearing a sweater with like 75 pom-poms on it and the sleeves cut off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wonder if that's part of the little bit of the thing is that you're not going to have the like cat fighting or the negative. So you've got to lean into the positive, into the sentimental, into the stories and things like
Fair.
that.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, that's probably what they're doing. And also since you have Isaac going home, you need to like, because he's a firefighter and everything like that, you kind of have to at least tell his story. But yeah, none of them like blew me away as far as ugly sweaters.
No, it was like it was I didn't get it. I just didn't get it.
Yeah. Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
I do. I have one and it was my brother gave it to me for Christmas many years ago, and I feel like maybe this just is a niche reference, but the Toronto Blue Jays used to have a player called Josh Donaldson, and he was the bringer of rain. That was his nickname. So mine was like an ugly Christmas sweater that said bringer of snow and it had like Josh Donaldson on it.
Wow, that is a deep cut.
Highly specific.
Yeah. But I respect it. Yeah, I have one that has a cat on it.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
You know I support that.
I
love a garish pattern. Like I can't help it.
Yeah. And I also have some ugly sweater hats because you can't really wear an ugly sweater on the podcast because it just cuts you off right here. So
Sure.
like,
oh,
so I had some hats, you know, so that does some more good.
Next time I'll wear my like cute Christmas sweater, like one I would wear to work.
And yeah, and we'll do like our plan is to do this sort of introductory episode, and then we'll do a end of show episode, so whenever it is. And we'll just whenever it airs there in Canada, we'll do it.
Maybe like 3 weeks after Christmas. Who knows?
So, okay. Then they have for the Star Quality Challenge, they have Aaron Cahill here on board, and they're going over the meet cute, which makes sense.
I love
it. And
at
first I thought, are they gonna, because they're pairing them up, and I'm like, are they gonna have them cute? Like, is it
the way I wanted that?
Yeah.
The way I wanted that. I was like, well, this is not the Great American Family Channel or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
I was like, give me Hallmark. Come on, this is what I want here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought, but no, it was with Aaron, and they end up with Isaac. Isaac ends up going home. So
I get why that girl's a star, by the way.
Oh, Aaron, yeah.
She was wonderfully charming in every one of those scenes.
She is delightful. That's definitely true. I'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Elise Murray and her exciting book, Society Girl. Set in the mysterious world of Oxford University's secret societies, Society Girl follows Sam, a duke's estranged daughter, as she attempts to join the most famous club of them all, the Animos Society. Her final initiation challenge is simple: find a man, convince him she's in love with him, and then break his heart in humiliating fashion. Hardened by her father's rejections, believing that the Animos Society is her key to his love and acceptance, Sam throws herself into making Dano Best, her father's chauffeur and local musician, fall for her. But she never counted on falling in love with him right back. Fans of Colleen Hoover, Anna Hong, and Mia Sheridan will love Society Girl, a sweeping romance from bestselling novelist and screenwriter Elise Murray. Free for Kindle Unlimited users for a limited time. Go to elisemurray.com/novels/Society Girl for more information. Or you can use the affiliate link below. All right, so then episode 2, we have the gift wrapping competition, which for the festive face-off.
That was tough to watch.
Yeah. Well, some of them had much harder items.
Yeah, and who was it that had the teddy bear and just like put the bow on top and was like,
yeah,
deuces. Was it Parker? I don't know. I respected it. I was like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I was surprised you didn't really get called out for that.
Yeah, me too. I thought they were gonna be like, we're disappointed in you. You have to be a Hollywood hunk or a Hallmark hunk. Like,
yeah. So Elijah ends up winning. He rapped the piano, and Elijah is our former Hamilton actor. So
I still have to watch Hamilton.
oh, you gotta watch it.
I know. You know what? Like I will get around to it. I tend to like I didn't get my driver's license until like into my 20s. Like I'm not I'll get there eventually.
It just like kept me going through the pandemic. So my musical heart was broken during the pandemic with all the theaters being closed, and so I really appreciated Hamilton.
And I do
Disney
love a
Plus.
musical. Are you excited to see Wicked? Have you already
Of
gone to
course.
see it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet. We don't have the critics screening here until the 17th. And then of course I'll be super excited to see it. I'm a little nervous about them splitting into two, but so far I've heard nothing but raves from everybody I know who's seen it. So,
and I've never seen the actual musical itself, so like I don't even know like what's in the first half, what's in the second half, like what might be the split. Like, do people know what the split is, like where they're cutting it off?
well, they released the song list, and it is identical to the song list of the Broadway musical, which is very surprising.
Oh,
yeah, it's literally there's not. They don't have any. I mean, maybe they'll be like, surprise, we're adding stuff. I don't know, but what they released, which was interesting. And the thing that makes me skeptical about the choice is that Wicked is a very top heavy show, very act one heavy show. Almost all of the good songs are in that first act. Okay. There's like 2 or 3, obviously For Good is really key and epic, but a lot of the songs in the second act are reprises.
Interesting.
And so, like, how are you going to have a whole second movie with just like reprises from the previous movie songs? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I think this movie is going to be amazing, but I'm just like, how do you make a whole second movie out of Act 2 of Wicked? I don't know. But I guess we'll see. But I mean, I'll probably like it because I'm a super softie when it comes to musicals. Like I like musicals that nobody likes. So,
what's your deepest cut musical that you love?
Well, I don't know about love, but I that's too strong. But I got enjoyment out of something like Dear Evan Hansen or The Prom. I understand that both those movies aren't perfect, and but I thought that their heart's in the right place, and I thought the music was nice, and so I enjoyed them. But are they like amazing? No, I get it, but I still like it.
But sometimes you're allowed to just like take it in and understand that it's not perfect media, and that's okay.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, and so Elijah, he's pretty, I mean, he seems pretty charming, pretty cute.
He is. And I have something to say about Elijah, and that is he the one with the pregnant girlfriend?
Yes.
That is a strong woman. And I will say, I'm not a jealous person. I have a husband.
Yeah.
Fine. The way, if a man told me, if my husband was like, I'm going on this reality show where I'm auditioning to be a Hallmark star, where I just mac on hotties all day long, I'd be like, girl, no. You're not going on that show. Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, is he the only one that's married?
I don't know. There's another father. There's at least one more father, if not 2 fathers. But I feel like we haven't gotten many girlfriend mentions. But yeah,
no, we haven't gotten many. Yeah, you're probably right. I do feel like a lot of the men on this show, which I'm totally fine with, are on Jonathan's team. I think that we got a lot of, which is fine with me, but I just think it's funny that, your Hallmark show, Finding Mr. Christmas. I think there's a good chance he could be a Mr. Christmas.
He could be in Mr. and Mr. Christmas.
Mr. Christmas, which is fine with me. But just sort of funny. But anyway, and so this one we have, Elijah winning, and then we get introduced to Nikki and Vicky, super fans. Which, like I said, if you're listening, Nikki and Vicky, like, I'm in Utah. Let's hang out. Let's do
First
this.
question: are those your real names? How did you find each other? Are you twins? Are you sisters? Like, are you friends? Are those stage names?
Yeah, we can have a Christmas party. It'll be fun. we, but yeah. So they're there, and then we've got Mr. Tyler Hines. Now, have you ever seen a Tyler Hines movie?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to know all the Hallmark movies I have seen are ones that you have got me to watch for this podcast. You alone,
which is really scary because like,
double my movie watching for the entire year.
Which is really sad because most of the ones that we've watched have been really terrible.
Just like unhinged, deeply unhinged.
Which like a few we've gotten a few good ones. I feel like what was the last one that I got you to watch was a good one. Now I can't remember.
It was like the chef one, wasn't it? With one of the Maoris.
Oh yeah.
Was
yeah,
that the last
one?
one?
That one was okay. No, there was another one that I can't remember.
The ones you get me to watch have like one of two qualifiers, and that's based on a reality show or starring somebody who was on a reality show.
Oh, you're right. You're right. The chef one was the last one that you were on, and I was thinking of Farmer Seeking Love, which was like decent.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty decent.
like that.
Oh yeah, we've had you on for yes, Chef, Farmer Seeking Love. We've been doing for Magic in Mount Holly.
Was that the paintbrush one?
Yes.
That one still makes me mad.
The Maltese Holiday.
I like that one. Who was the guy in that? Was that Cody as well?
That was Cody. That was Cody, yeah.
Okay.
Love for Real. That was the one in Hawaii.
Oh, I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. And then Ivy and Mistletoe.
Tough.
That one was rough. And then like Cats and Dogs. That one was watchable.
I like that one. Yeah.
That one was watchable. And then Reality of Love. That was the first one you were on.
My favorite.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat that one.
Bradley Cooper. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, for real though.
But Tyler Hines is like a pretty big deal here. He's very popular. He has this whole fan group called the Heinies. Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah, of course.
It's true. They're very passionate about him. They love him. And I was more a fan of his early movies for Hallmark. He's gotten a little too movie starish, a little too cool guy for me lately. But he can be extremely charming, and I definitely completely understand why he has like so many fans, because he has really great like charisma on screen.
I see that.
Yeah.
Also, how do we feel about Melissa Peterman being basically like a co-host?
Yeah, it's interesting how they introduce her. Why don't you just have her from the beginning? And here's my co-host.
I know,
Melissa Peterman.
It's like not even like they're calling her the co-host. It's like a special guest, and then she's shown up in 2 episodes. Was she in the 3rd one as well?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, then she's just a co-host.
Yeah, I mean they're a fun combo, but you're right. It is kind of weird how they're introducing her.
Is she in Hallmark movies too?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually as more supporting. Well, always she's been more in the ensemble. She's never had a lead, which I would love. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But she was in there was these movies called Haul Out the Holly. There are 2 of them, and they leaned pretty hard into the realm of slapstick. They were definitely more silly than you typically have with Hallmark. And because these movies, for the most part, are rom more than they're com.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so and they tend to be somewhat formulaic, which is part of the reason why we love them. But so it's nice though every once in a while when they try to kind of inject either this is going to be more of a drama, this is going to be more of a comedy, because you have 40 movies, like you want a little variety.
Yeah, so true. Oh yes. Yeah.
Anyway, the Holly movies were pretty funny, were pretty silly, and it was like this cul-de-sac where they're like super competitive of the lights decorating.
Okay, cool.
And it gets real hardcore, and Wes Brown is in it, and he's the head of the HOA, and he's constantly giving Lacey Chabert citations for her for her decor, and it's pretty funny. Yeah.
Okay, I
And
like that.
she and Melissa Peterman does have some hilarious scenes in those movies, and she's like, you can tell that like 90% of it is improv that she's doing with Lacey, and you can also tell that Lacey's like dying, like she must have broken a million times. So I appreciate that.
I enjoyed her a lot on Reba, so I was excited. I thought she was great on this show too. I wish they would just be like, no, she's the co-host.
Yeah.
That is one thing I was really taken aback by, was how much improv there is, because they kind of encouraged in the first episode in the acting challenge to like improv and like go with the script. So it's interesting that Isaac question mark had such a problem with the script, because it was almost like you don't even really have to stick to the script that much. You can just like vibe.
Yeah, that was it. I don't know how detailed these scripts really are, especially in this. It was interesting with this ice skating one, because they acted, when the next episode there's this ice skating challenge, and they acted like that some of the stuff was just like optional. They're going to put stuff and see what the guys do, but then like they were like, why didn't you, like, you had to do it? I was like, is it optional or is it not optional? Like,
oh,
it was
that's weird.
Yeah, it was a little confusing.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, so we have the co-star of this photo shoot that they're doing is our puppies. Puppies are the co-star, which is adorable.
I think I genuinely squealed.
Yeah.
When that corgi came out, because I'm a corgi girly. I love corgis. I love them so much. So when that corgi came out, I squeaked. I audibly squeaked.
It was pretty cute, but I'm
I don't care about these guys. I like the corgis.
Yeah. I don't understand why they didn't literally make this into a calendar.
For real though.
I mean, especially if you got Tyler Hines to do, because they only have 10 guys.
And
I guess 9 at this point. 9. So if you got Tyler Hines to do and make Jonathan Bennett, and just for fun, so you'd have your 12. Just have Melissa Peterman do one as well. Who cares? And so you got your 12 photos with the dogs. Who wouldn't want that? Every woman in America would buy that. And
you're just printing money on that.
Yeah. And you can make it go to Humane Society or whatever. Missed opportunity.
There was a lot of cute dogs, and I'm glad they switched them up every like couple people. So that you didn't get like one really agitated. Oh god, they were such cute dogs. Whose photos were your favorite from this? Now, I am a longtime America's Next Top Model watcher, so I feel like I had a more critical eye on some of these photos. Like who was smizing and who was like really working the camera.
Yeah, so who was yours?
Again, I think Daxton's were like really stunning. There was one, I think he had like the candy cane over his shoulder. He had like the wide shot. I was just really taken with that photo. And then Hayden's, he had like an over the shoulder. Like I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. And Parker for like all of his like, I'm a model. I thought his were like mid. Like he wasn't Hallmark modeling. He was like sunglasses modeling.
Oh yeah, I mean they all looked pretty good. Like I said, I'd buy the calendar. So but yeah, I liked Blake's too. I thought he was cute.
Blake will have a career in Hallmark movies.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hearty, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
And there is, you should watch, or maybe we should cover it. The 12 Men of Christmas is a Lifetime movie that's delightful, starring Kristen Chenoweth. And she gets basically like canceled by her fiance who dumps her and whatever. So she's like a PR lady, and she goes to Montana because it's like the only open job. She goes to Montana, and she's supposed to be doing like PR or touristing for this town in Montana. Well, she decides to make this calendar for the search and rescue team of the 12 Men of Christmas. And it's really good. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to find that because again, Kristen Chenoweth is just like delightful.
Yeah, and I feel like that one should be an easy one to find. I think it'll be all.
What's it called? 12 Men of Christmas?
The 12 Men of Christmas.
Okay, I'll put that on my list.
Yeah, if you see it, let me know, and then we can do a recap because I really enjoy it. It's got the hot guy from Cougar Town.
I was gonna say, like, where do I know this guy from? It's Cougar Town, and wasn't he also in Desperate Housewives?
I think that sounds right.
Or does he just look like the guy who was in Desperate Housewives? It's been a long time since I watched Desperate Housewives.
Yeah. Anyway, but it reminded me of this. I'm like, this is like Hallmark's version of 12 Men of Christmas. I was surprised how many of the guys took their shirts off for a Hallmark show.
Okay, one of these guys in the 12 Dates of Christmas, I'm sure I saw him in one of the movies I watched for this podcast. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I was a little surprised at how many of these guys took their shirts off.
I know. And I can be a bit of a prude. Like, maybe it's just like the earnestness of like, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm like, I can't engage with that.
Are you going to watch this Chad Michael Murray movie on Netflix coming out? The Merry Men of Christmas or something?
Ooh, maybe I'll add that to the list too.
It's like Magic Mike, but for Christmas.
Okay, no, I'm out.
So then you have Elijah, and he's got a lot of stuff on. He's got the turkey hat, he's got the glasses. It's a lot.
I can tell that dude's more of an actor than a model based on like this. And then who was it that was like rolling around on the ground with the puppy?
Well, there was Hayden because he lost his Hayden, he lost his dog in his divorce, which is brutal.
That's so crazy. I need to know more. I need to know more.
And so he had the longest segment, I think, with any of the dogs.
Yeah.
I was like, are they giving him this dog?
They're trying to sue him in judging. They were like, oh, well, it took a while for you to get started back up. Like, you want this guy to be emotional. Like, you want this for your TV show. Like, why are you mad at him? Oh, so it took 10 extra minutes. Like, grow up.
So then David ends up on that. He ends up out. And that made sense. He was probably the weakest photo.
I think that was the right choice. And he was up against Gage. And I think they're gonna get so much more content from Gage. Like, that's the right call. Even in the judging, he was like, well, my photos were stunningly beautiful. And they were like this of his face. And I'm like, I get why they weren't happy with these photos. And it was Gage might have a long run on the show unless he went out in episode 3 and you're about to tell me that.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about the spoilers.
That's fine.
So we have a double bad news in episode 3. So it starts out, Daxton's had some kind of injury. And yes, he had to go to the hospital, and he ended up with a retinal detachment on his eye. And
oh my God.
Yeah. So that's a super bummer because not only is he a friend of a friend, but like I saw him in Jersey Boys, and like he was super good.
He was so good at this. So he's out.
So that was a bummer. And so I thought, okay, that's it. He's going to be the, the out for this week.
Yeah.
No, they continued forward.
I'm genuinely devastated to learn this news. They better bring him back for season 2.
Yes.
Where he better have like a supporting role in this movie. Like I feel like all of these guys are going to be in this movie.
Oh, that would be fun. I didn't even think of that. If they all had like little cameos.
Yeah, I really think that's gonna happen. Yeah.
That'd be a great idea. By the way, do you know let me tell you the movie. It's called Happy Howlidays, Howlidays. Howl, like howl of a dog. Howlidays.
Okay, so it's gonna be Hayden.
Yeah, I feel like there's a good chance.
You're setting it up for Hayden.
Happy Howlidays, and it stars Jessica Lowndes, and it's very interesting because she was one of those ones that signed a contract over at Great American Family when it first started. And this is her first one back to Hallmark. And so I'm like, So I guess that there's going to be now some crossing back over after that has basically not been successful. And so that was very interesting to me. This is going to air on the 21st. So whenever they're probably editing it as we speak. Not probably. They are editing it as we speak. So way to go. And it says, I'll just read it to you. It says, Mia, a meticulous webpage editor for the Seattle Tourism Board, finds herself unexpectedly navigating the holidays alone. As the only one working, she's drawn into an unusual encounter when she encounters a stray dog. Unsure how to handle the situation, she crosses paths with Max, a dog shelter owner. Mia agrees to let Max's ailing dog find solace with her newfound companion in exchange for Max showing her the hidden gems of Seattle. Through their journey together, they both step out of their comfort zones, discovering new perspectives and forming a meaningful connection. So get ready to see Salt Lake City as Seattle. I think that is going to be happening. Pretty sure.
Fabulous. I love it. I thought they would have gone for like a more classic storyline than that. Like, I don't know, like a bookstore owner, like a tree farm runner.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it sounds kind of boring to me. Like, I really don't need to know the hidden gems of Seattle. Like, mad respect to Seattle. That doesn't sound that interesting to me.
Like, and also, is that like the old dog gonna like die?
It encounters a stray dog.
But then the owner, the guy, Max, like, oh, his dog is going to help take care of this new dog or something. I don't know.
Yeah, unsure how to handle the situation, she crosses paths with Max, a dog shelter owner. So I guess he teaches her the ways of dog ownership. Evidently. Anyway, so that's what we have to look forward to.
Or like I wanted like a male librarian or something, you know? Hallmark, call me. I'm full of ideas. Like, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Me too. That's for sure. So then we have the Tangled Christmas Light Ball contest that happens. And the balls are actually quite heavy. And one of them is like holding it up while the other untangles. And so Gage and Elijah end up winning.
The way I have... And... one of them is like getting caught on things or like having to untie things. So if I had a challenge of which I had to unfurl lights on a heavy ball, they would eliminate me because of like how upset I got.
I mean, yeah, I feel like, does anybody actually reuse? Does anybody actually do that? I mean, lights are so cheap that I would never do that. I would just go and buy a new string.
Were they like little ones or were they like for the house?
No, they were outdoor. They were green. Well, no, I mean they were green lights, so that would either be for the tree or for outdoor.
Right. No, we do reuse, and I do like the over the elbow, so I can have like a a good circle. Like even like unfurling the vacuum cord fills me with a rage that I cannot describe.
I mean, I usually just will be like, I'll just go buy some new lights. They have them at like Family Dollar. It's not a big investment. I don't know. It's just not worth it. But and I mean, and if your lights go out on your pre-lit tree, forget it. I mean, that's it.
That's fair. My husband is very committed to a real tree every year, so we do have to like. Oh, and again, like I hate all of the branches touching me. I don't want to be touched by the branches.
I've only had a real tree one time, and it was a total disaster because this company, they had promised that they would literally come deliver the tree and set it up. That was part of the, the bundle that I purchased. And they did nothing of the sort. They literally just like left it on my patio. I'm a single woman, no help. And so I'm trying to set up this heavy tree, and I don't have a saw.
Oh,
I'm a single woman. I don't have a saw. And it was like cut like this. So like, what am I supposed to do? So I'm like trying, and it's like falling on me, and it was a bad situation. And I'm getting more and more upset. And finally, I called the leader of our church, the bishop of our local little area, whatever. I called him, and I was like, I didn't have, my parents were in California at the time. I didn't have anybody else to call. And so I called, and he came over with his saw. He saved the day. He set up my tree. And I was like, you are my Christmas hero. Like, they're going to sing songs about you someday.
that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
We had a tree mishap a couple years ago. I'd say not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. We had these two evergreens in our yard, but like the people who planted them planted them in like really bad spots, so we had to like get rid of them. So we're like, well, we'll use one of these for our Christmas tree. Like it's a nice size, it'll fit perfectly, like it's nice and full,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. We like bring it inside, and like in the lights of the home, it's bare in so many spots, like it's super wide but like somehow short, and it's like the fuggliest tree anyone's ever seen. And we're like, that's okay. Like it's
Charlie Brown it.
whatever. And then we tried to like put it up in the tree stand, and the wood itself was so soft, it just like would go, like the screws would go right into the wood, and it would just like fall over. So we like immediately brought it out, drove to the grocers, and picked up a new tree like minutes later. We're like, okay, good try, everyone. Good effort.
Yeah.
And
we shouldn't have the squirrel pop out like in Christmas Vacation.
So true. And we just like leaned it back up in the corner where we like cut it down from. Stuff.
That's funny. Well, so so Gage and Elijah win the festive face off, and then so for our challenge, we have Brooke D'Orsay coming, who's a Hallmark actress, and she is very charming. She picks terrible projects. She's been in it's a shame because she really can be quite charming. She was in a movie called Miss Christmas, which is a delight. Oh my gosh, she's been in so many bad ones. It's not pretty. So but anyway, so she's the star in this one, and they're doing this ice skating scene. And I did appreciate the fact that they have like one of these plastic ice skating rinks that they do in these movies that look terrible. They had it. So I was like, this is authentic. This is real to what they're going to have to be doing. And also I love it when they have these ice skating rinks that are like 20 by 20, it's like, what's this like postage stamp of a rink? I don't know. It's just funny what they try to get away with in these movies. And it's the plastic ice. And what they did is they have various people, things happen that they are then have to respond to. That's why I was saying it was a little bit weird, because they give them a script, and I could see the actors being like, okay, I have to stick to the script. But no, they were expecting him to like help this girl who falls on her skates, help her up. The skate guy, he like some of them topple off the table, and they are supposed to like help them with that. And that like proves you're like a true Hallmark, like good person, basically. And if you didn't help the person, but like, how are they supposed to know that? They just think this is just part of the scene,
I
right?
take everything too literally. I'd be like, yeah, you're just like, you want that to happen. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
just
gonna
part of the
continue on
scene.
with this, like what I'm doing right in front of me. Oh my gosh, that's
But
so
poor
funny.
Gage, they were acting like he was a bad person because he did not help this woman up from falling on her. She's like, you
Shouldn't
were
have
the only
fallen.
one. You were the only one who didn't help her. That's not a Hallmark.
Did he get eliminated for that?
Good. Yeah,
No!
he got.
I told you they were setting him up to be the villain. I told
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So,
Oh, I bet he was big mad about that.
yes. Yeah. I mean, it really was pretty unfair. Like, oh,
Oh,
poor Gage.
that's
But there we go. That is episodes 1 through 3. So let us know what you think about the show, about the cast, about the concept, all of that fun stuff. The episodes so far. Do you have a favorite? Who do you think will make the best hunk in the Happy Holidays story? We want to hear what you think. And thank you so much, Haley, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was so fun per usual.
Yeah. So if people want to follow you and listen to your podcast and everything, so what do they do?
You can find my Bachelor podcast over on the We Know Reality TV network. It's called Talking Batch. Me and Amy, my co-host, have been covering the season of The Golden Bachelorette. And we will be covering the season of The Bachelor come January. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at hstrong_. And if you want to check out everything I am reading, you can check out my Bookstagram account. If you are a fan of the Hallmark movies, you will probably enjoy the books I am reading as well. So check that out.
Yeah, very good. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. It really helps us a lot, especially during this holiday season with the algorithm to find us. Please, please. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Most of our viewers are not subscribers, so it really helps the algorithm if you subscribe. So please help us and like those videos. And check out our Patreon group. We do monthly watch-alongs with talent. That's really fun. And you can just check that out. And we have our merch store where we have all kinds of fun designs, including new holiday movie designs featuring Home Alone and It's a Wonderful Life and Christmas Story, Die Hard even. So we've got it on our shop. Please check it out. And thanks so much. This was a blast. We'll talk to y'all later.